go on each journey together. And after, I was listening to people in their family life dying, like she did on her own to be one that ended in death. How were the riots and how is the story out there to like reconcile? Because they had the whole idea of, going something about soul thing, but I'm like, are you going to be looking for another witness who's a baby, or are you going to be looking for, I don't know?
I don't know, the writers get back into the writing room, I know it's the 6th of June, I think. So until then, I have no idea where they'll take it.
What's your thoughts on Abby saying to everyone that her role was to carry him forward, which I found very, very problematic as a person.
Oh yes, I change that. I don't think anyone really came out of that line as well, saying that Abby's sole purpose was to push God's story forwards, and also that Washington, and you mentioned someone else, was to push God forward. I don't really think Abby, God, or Washington came out of that line particularly well. I understand why they did it, but I think it could have been a way that didn't undermine the previous 3 seasons' work or the 200 years of history. No, I agree. It was a line that they kept it in, and I love it now because of it. Yes. Thank you.
My question is the lady in the front.
Hello, gentlemen. Yeah, hi, Joe. I wanted to ask, you were saying that sometimes the writers don't really explore some relationships, like for the two of you in the show. Is there a place, can you go to the writers and tell them that they could explore more of it, or is it more retrospective when you look back at the season?
No, I could do that, but as actors, we approach the story through our characters above everything else, and it's the writer's job and the director's job to look at the story through all of the characters and to make a decision on balancing it between them. So it's not really my job to go and say, I think we should follow this route, because it's going to come from quite wide stuff. My job is to make their story as believable and exacting as I possibly can. And actually, I have to give due credit where it's due to the writers. They are very, very open. And when they're asked questions on this, there's always a writer on set, and they're always very happy they want to discuss it, because we like to create an environment where we're all creating something together. But if you had every member of the cast saying, I think my character should be doing this, nothing will ever get made. So they do it, it's very fine-tuned, that's not an ending job.
And there's also, I think, a symbiotic process that happens on set where the writers will sit in the writing room and come up with their overarching stories and try to figure out what the story is going to be for each character and piece everything through. But when that comes alive on set, there's a whole different process that happens, because it goes from being a staged process on board where they're imagining what's going to be said to something that interplays between actors and characters on scene. And quite often that will inspire something else, something they never imagined could happen at the moment will be inspired from that, will lead to write something different and pulls things on. I know that the character of Abraham was only supposed to be in 3 episodes. Well, he was only supposed to be in that first episode of season 1, and they liked him from season 1, and we'll bring him back for his 3 episodes in season 2. But they saw something that was really interesting in the way that the headless horseman could finally speak and voice his feelings and concerns, and as a result they started writing additional stuff because they thought it would be interesting to find finally give the muted, stumpy one a voice. So there is a symbiotic process where you'll have the creative will create, but through the process of actualizing creation, a third thing happens that nobody can predict. And so the process has a life of its own.
Yes, and following from that, the life of a television writer in America it's not an end. There's so many notes, they do their outline of an episode, and then there are notes on that, and they do the first draft that the actors don't really see, and there's notes on that. And then there's a production draft that can go to all of the heads of the hair and the makeup and the crew, and so they kind of an outline of what we need to prepare for. Then there's a shooting, and there's notes on that. Then there's a shooting script, which is the one that we finally get to see. And then there's notes on that. And each draft from the shooting script onwards is a different colour. They then only give you the scenes. And so by the end of it, you've got a script that's red, pink, green, yellow, so many different. So you'll get a writer come in the morning, and they've been up all night rewriting the scene because there's notes from the network, there's notes from the studio, there's notes from the director, there's occasionally notes from Neil saying, I don't think Tom will do this very well. Maybe you should have some of the dialogue. So there's notes everywhere, and they're trying to keep as many plates spinning as possible. And so then we get to the set and the shooting, and they hear it spoken, and it's very different. When you've got actors finally bringing it to life, and that will spark something in them, and they'll go with that. I don't know how they do it.
There's a process. There's a funny thing that when you're looking at something on a macro level, whenever if you're the architect, say, of a show, and you're looking at things on a macro level about where the wall should be, which is essentially what the showrunner and the writers are doing. When it comes down to the person who does the micro level, and you're looking at the decoration, which is what we're doing, you're looking at things through such a prism that you have a more acute perspective on something. There were several times when you'll read a line and you'll realise that line has never been said aloud, because they'll be writing couplets or something that it's impossible to say. Something like, I'm going to head out from here to the bar because I need to drive my car, or something like this that sounds ludicrous when said aloud, but makes sense on the page. But when you actually get the actor and start looking at it, and one of the things we used to talk about a lot was contractions, about the way that language existed back in that period, which is the way that we would have spoken, to the way that contemporary language is. And there weren't that many contractions back then. We wouldn't have had it, it would have been it is. And looking at the way that changes the flow of speech, so there is this process that happens where you finally get these pink, blue, gold, whatever pages, and then you try to figure out that through the prism of what the character wanted to say. So,
funnily enough, when there are the accidental lining or accidental alliteration or accidentally they suddenly iambic creeps in, there's a perfect pentameter. When they hear me speaking rehearsal, they go, no, we'll do that. Those are the bits that I really like to keep, because I think that adds a certain spiciness to Ichabod's. And it's something you're not really hugely aware of in the audience, but you know that when Ichabod's speaking, there's something quite weird. So I like to latch on to those happy accidents. It's all about language, just exploring words. That's what makes Ichabod so much fun, is that it's about that you're allowed to find lots of language and lots of words to chew over.
We have time for one final question to the gentleman here in front. Hi guys.
Hello.
Obviously, Sleepy Hollow crossed over with the other TV show Bones recently. Is there any other TV shows that you guys would love to cross over with? And also, you said that you were near the set of Walking Dead. Have you ever felt like sneaking on, being like a zombie was hiding?
I was very tempted to try and get in as a zombie.
Was hiding around.
I really wanted to, and I got the number of someone in the Walking Dead production office to try and get in. And then I found out that every zombie you see has to go through Zombie Academy. They do a zombie school. I don't know whether they come out with it, blood so it wouldn't be a case of, I'll be in for 20 minutes. Because also there's the hours and hours of makeup. And depending on what grade you get in Zombie Academy, that determines how close your shot is. So if you do really well, you might get closer. If you're a bit of a dunce, then you'll be in the background with half makeup on behind some trees. And I love that. I'd really like to find that I've been in the room when they decided the syllabus for zombies.
Right, that is that's all we have time for here. I guess please
Thank you,
come back to
guys.
that.